Well, Mr. Jim Brann is joining us over the phone, a political analyst from London. Mr. Brann, what do you make of the timing of this bill in regards to pushing for both sanctions and the lethal aid to Ukraine?
I think that probably Obama is quite happy to have the Congress propose this measure, whether or not he accepts it, because it gives Obama an extra measure in his arsenal. It comes at a time, of course, of crisis of the ruble, of oil prices, and so on. What your clip showed, I think, is interesting, but it's clear that sanctions will actually harm Putin's position, and Putin is riding high in the opinion polls at the moment, because in general Russians do agree that the object of the West is to constrain and limit and box in Russia. So I think the timing is designed to be a kind of provocation, to give an extra weapon in Obama's arsenal if he wants it.
Yeah, so what do you think the likelihood is that Obama will back this law? This bill to go into law?
I think that he will, but that's not. I'm not certain of that. You have the new Congress coming in. Remember, this is a Congress which will be replaced in January, was elected in November. Generally, people expect the new Congress to be more hardline across the board, and that I think will include on the question of Russia and the Ukraine, as well as the Middle East and China and so on.
And of course, we know that Ukraine at the moment, they've signed this, well, they haven't signed it, but they're trying to push through a new truce to bring about peace in the east of Ukraine. How do you think this new proposal, this new bill will affect that truce, given that the US have, well, the Congress and the Senate have both backed the idea of giving lethal aid to the country?
Well, it's like anything where you have major power intervention in any region of. If a major power takes a stand on an internal matter of a country, it tips the balance. Whether or not they go ahead and, for example, introduce their own troops, which certainly isn't really on the cards at the moment, but any measure of intervention becomes an internal factor in that country's affairs. And it must be the same in Ukraine. You have voices in Ukraine that saying, for example, that Ukraine should be fully in NATO, which even the NATO powers don't want at the moment. But to have the prospect there, to have the issue hanging over them, and then to have the US Congress saying, well, we're prepared to provide lethal aid, then clearly it will be seen as a step on the road to, for example, full NATO membership.
Thank you very much for joining us over the phone from London.